Hello, this is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Spooky Magpie.
Spooky magpie.
The same, but with a filter.
Oh my god, magpie is a spook?
It makes me very slightly blurry and a little ominous.
Yeah. So, we're gonna introduce ourselves.
Yeah, that was the idea. Do it.
Blackle.
Oh, I'm Blackle. I'm, being psycho-physically attacked by
Oh,
Guy Fieri.
oh,
Well,
not again.
you shouldn't have crossed him.
I shouldn't have
I
crossed
told
him.
you not to cross him.
Anyway, I'm doing okay. Living my life, being quite active these days, which is quite fun.
Oh, very nice.
Trying to survive out here.
You ate you ate some Fieri style like chili nachos, and now your stomach hurts when he thinks about you like a fucking ring wraith.
He has his fingers in me.
Oh, he watches. Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Joey, but from another planet. Woo.
Ooh.
Space alien. I see.
And I've done the opposite. I am less active. Not really, but I have taken a different job that requires me to sit a lot. So here I am, sitting at the computer for an episode. What do we do on this show?
Watch anime.
We watch anime and anime related media. Would you guys like to hear some news about said medium?
Yeah.
I'm
tell
gonna
us.
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna hit you with the bad news first, so that the rest of the news can soften the blow. Which is it is unfortunately notable enough that we must cover the fact that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, Kazuki Takahashi, died heroically a week ago or so, attempting to save some children from a riptide off the coast of Nago City.
Damn.
It's just very sad. Apparently, a father and daughter were caught in the bad tide and pulled out. A U.S. Army officer dove in and saved them. Apparently, Takahashi went too, but he did not come back.
Oh no.
So that's a real shame.
The ocean
What
is
else?
Scary.
The ocean is scary as hell. Let's see. What else do we have? Did you guys know that they made a live action movie of the of Whisper of the Heart?
No.
What? When?
I did not know that occurred.
Just like recently, it just released like on October 14th. I did not even know they were making it until it was out.
Fascinating.
It's weird that I watched the Studio Ghibli version of that movie like semi recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's apparently not doing very well, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah.
And finally, Konami has decided to slight me personally once again by announcing that tomorrow, in fact, October 19th, they are going to on their official website have a live stream discussing the future of the Silent Hill series. As soon as they put out a tweet about this, I read it and I just went, "Oh, good, we're getting another pachinko machine."
Oh god.
Great.
I want to die. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. I'm sure it'll be great. So, do you guys want to know? You guys want to know what I've got in store?
Lay
For
it on me.
you,
Yeah?
it looks like when I looked into the vaults, I discovered that the box from last year that contained the OVAs was disturbed while I was away. The lid lay torn asunder, and inside I found something that we had apparently missed.
Oh my.
So this week's episode is going to be about Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei.
Oh my.
Yes!
That's right, the root of it all. Well,
Yes!
I mean, not really the
yes.
root. It was a book before, but that's kind of beyond our purview.
Yeah.
So let's away.
And let's go to it. Nyum.
I'm pretty sure what we watched is what happens if you feed the ATM a stray cat.
Yeah, that's it. This is the end result of following your instincts whenever you're Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a different lead in because like my thoughts were just congratulations, Akemi, you've saved the world from the problem you caused.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you
Good
big
job.
fucking hero.
You did it, buddy.
My lead-in is that this gave me the same experience as watching the last 4 episodes of Diamond is Unbreakable, having not seen any JoJo ever.
You're just like, I don't know what's happening, but this is pretty okay.
Yeah. Pretty exactly. You took the words right out of my craw.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get down to it because it won't actually take us long to discuss the plot here. So what we're doing, first we open on an unnamed protagonist being with sword and robe. This imagery is going to come back, and I'm going to talk about it a little later.
Yes.
A sworded robe, and he's exploring a deep, dank cave, and he sees a woman with her back turned in the depths of the cave, and he instinctively like reaches out to like comfort her.
Yeah,
And as she turned, a woman. No, that's not our thing. But he reaches out to comfort her, and as she turns, she is revealed to be just a horrifying corpse woman
Mm-hmm.
who comes stumbling after him, and he recoils in horror from her.
Gets chased a little.
And he gets chased a little bit. It's fun. It's a little Scooby Doo, but
Yeah.
and then he wakes up because of his nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Do we follow him to school or the girl?
There's a bit of like aesthetic shots happening, and then I think
Our next scene is like he's in the computer room doing computer things. And it's intercut with a new transfer student being introduced to the class, whose name is Yumiko. And Yumiko is a bog standard 80s anime heroine.
yes.
Down to every detail.
I was gonna say she has the exact haircut you think she does.
I forget what the name is, the fucking Nadisco shit, the samurai girl, but yeah, she's a samurai girl. She's beautiful, pale, she's got a waist length black hime cut.
Yep.
That's her thing, and she's being introduced to the class, and she's like, "Oh, it's a very normal introduction." But cutting back and forth from that, we go back to Kemi, because we're just gonna say his name now. There are like 3 or 4 named characters, and for the life of me, I can find nowhere on the internet consistent reference to the others aside from Akemi and Yumika. So yeah, he's coming in, and he's coming in late, but whenever he encounters teachers and such in the hall, they they sort of like shy away from him with like deference because he's putting out this aura of intimidation despite not actually doing anything. And he comes in right in the middle of her introduction, and it is unusual because nobody like reprimands him or anything, and he just goes and takes his seat and pulls out his little pocket computer. Which, by the way, great piece of tech, right there.
It's very cool.
It's got this very chunky BlackBerry, but
I want it.
I
want it because it makes bleep bloop noises when you type any key.
It's really loud. You think people? Thought people on your Discord calls with mechanical keyboards were irritating?
Yeah. Next step up.
Um,
Next step up is that it's a fucking like Twitch soundboard, and it's just.
So yeah, this is all pretty weird because they're like studiously ignoring him. And she goes on with the introduction only to be interrupted by Kemi, who just says, we're going to call her O'Hara because that's what I'm looking at right now. Says, Miss O'Hara. It's like, yes, Nakajima. We will meet in the computer lab as we discussed. And she just says, yes. And that's sort of the end of her introductions because everybody is being very weird. Yumiko, and the class stands and bows and does their thing, except for Akemi, who simply does not care and is busy bleep blooping at his computer. So this is all meant to be very atypical, and probably more so if you're Japanese and like familiar with the high school etiquette. But God, you know what the American equivalent of that is? Is the kid who didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and caused a fucking standoff with the teacher.
Yeah, that's so true.
Well, the rest of you are just like, yeah, we know you're making a point, but come the fuck on.
Okay, like, can we just?
Everybody has
do stuff.
Everybody has shit to do. So Yumiko, being the most either oblivious or outgoing transfer student ever, decides to approach him immediately in a very friendly fashion. And she says, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Did you grow up in Sapporo? Or I forget what the other city was, but or something. And he just doesn't even respond to her. He's just like, you're really familiar to me. Like and he just like, Yumiko. And she's like, oh, you do know me. And he just points to the blackboard
where she had written
where she wrote her name. And he's just like, you probably shouldn't get involved with me. To be honest, he's correct.
Oh yeah, he's right.
It was a bad idea to get involved with him. But she's just like, oh, prick, and she goes and sits down.
Yep.
We don't go through the school day. This anime does not choose to fuck around in that fashion.
Yeah, we get very few classroom scenes, and when we do, they're shit's happening.
Fighting to the death.
They're going to be unique.
Yes.
So yeah, we cut to the end of the day, and Yumiko is leaving, right? She's just like, well, this place is shit. I hate it here. I mean, I'm gonna have to make do, but and also that Nakajima kid was such a bitch to me. And as she's about to leave, she turns around and it's one of those Japanese schools that's just like this big brutalist like edifice. So it's got a lot of like sky walkways, you know, the between building concrete like bridges. And she just happens to catch a view of Miss O'Hara walking alone through one of those in profile from far away. And she's just like, I'm going to do some Scooby-Doo shit. I'm going to spy. And she does. She creeps up on him in the computer room. So the computer room is the darkest computer room I've ever seen. Clearly, this was set up to take advantage of somebody's RPG setup on their new gaming PC.
It was made to destroy children's eyeballs.
It's like you see, my keyboard lights up. But yeah, most of the desks have been pushed out of the way, and there's just a big hexagram painted on the floor because also Japan doesn't have like the same connotations of pentagrams that we do.
I did think that was funny. I was like, wait a minute, that's not
Yeah.
a pentagram. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's not a Star of David either. It is a hexagram,
It
but
is a hexagram.
and yeah, there's like a cheap armchair in the middle. And two students nearby holding candles and a sword. Um, and Akemi is sitting at his big executive desk with built-in computer. This is some 80s ass shit. The scope of this computer is ridiculous. It's just it's like it's a whole desk unit with a keyboard in the middle and like a weird offset CRT like way over to his left, which it can rotate on a spindle. And behind him, like behind some glass, appears to be like the main like processing engine of this computer, which like runs wall to wall, and it's just like, wow, look at the size of it. I bet it could even read 25 megabytes of data.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got the candles out, and Miss O'Hara comes in to take her place in the chair because they've agreed, she has a date. So so after settling down in the chair, she's clearly nervous. Akemi brings her an Oculus Rift to put on, and he goes back to his computer and starts up. This is where I got like sidetracked in my mind because I started thinking about like 80s consumer demon summoning software that comes on floppy disks, and I thought it was just really funny. And I started trying to figure out like names for the programs.
He wrote that code himself.
So yeah, he probably
Microsoft DOS like hell world.
He found it on a BBS. It's just like seriously, you don't write your own code. You're still using fucking Baphomet 84
script kitty.
DOS, but it stands for Demon Operating System.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, yeah, he starts up the shit, and it does look like it runs out of DOS. Actually, it looks like it runs out of some sort of Fortran program, which is incredibly primitive.
Hey, don't diss Fortran. They still use.
I know people use it, but it looks old as shit.
Yeah, it is old as shit. It's as old as punch cards. In fact, punch cards like there's a whole standard of punch cards for how to put Fortran on them.
Yeah, fucking nice. Fortran is from like fucking 1968 or some shit.
No, earlier than that.
So anyway. So yeah, what he's doing is using the power of the personal computer. Does this count as a personal computer? It's built into a room. But anyway, the power of the unlimited power of the PC to summon demons. He's just going to summon demons.
He does summon a big puppy first.
Yeah. He calls up a spirit called Kerberos to watch after the ceremony, who doesn't actually appear. But does appear on screen for a second.
They didn't have the budget.
Didn't have the budget for that one.
Sorry, Kerberos, we don't have the budget for you to be here this scene.
So that he can perform the ritual to, I guess, empower another demon called Loki. Now, before you ask, this is not a Tom Hiddleston Loki or even a very Norse Loki, because it does look like he does look like Nightcrawler.
I was gonna say Beast.
Yeah.
Beast.
I was gonna say Devilman.
Devilman.
Beast.
Devilman.
Yeah, Nightcrawler or Beast is very fuzzy and blue.
A weirder pull would be Bao, the living weapon from fucking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure creator. Wow. But yeah, he looks like that. So yeah, he calls him up, and his face appears on screen, and it's spooky and shit. And Yumiko is watching at this point and watches the ritual go down, and watches Mrs. O'Hara in her Oculus Rift writhing on the chair and passes out. It's too much. This is too fucking weird.
I think Kerberos actually appears and scares her.
Oh yeah, does Kerberos scare?
Oh.
Is it?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
she does
sense,
get
yeah.
jump scared into unconsciousness. And nothing happens to her while she's unconscious. They just move her like 10
She's
feet.
fine. She wakes up and it's still going.
It's still happening. This is the same scene. It's a weird cut. But yeah, she wakes up and she's like, "What are you doing to the teacher?" And he's just like, "Well, it's not what I'm doing." And he turns the monitor around, and there's Loki there, and he's just sort of standing for a portrait.
He looks like he's like grunting and like sweating maybe.
He's like breathing heavily and A-posing on the computer. And she's just like, and they use such a weird euphemism. He's just like, he points to the teacher, and she's like, he's a demon, a real one, and she's currently having fun with it. And some like steam comes out of her chest and shit. I don't know what they're implying here.
How did she figure out what he was doing, and why she just like, hey, I need you to get me to fuck a demon, and he's like, okay, fine.
No, I don't think that's how it happened at all. Like, because some shit we see later suggests that he has like undue like mind control on some of these people. I don't think it was a question on her part. I think it was Loki told him what needed to go down, and he was just like, okay, who should I get for this teacher?
She liked it. She was kind of a freak the whole time.
She's kind of a freak the whole time. I don't know if it's her fault that she was a freak. She may have been converted to freakdom.
I'm gonna say that she was because of the end scene, but we'll get to it.
Well, like I said, people can change. We'll address this. So yeah, he's just like, and she's just like, how could you do this? And he's just like, because he has a moment of hallucination where she becomes the corpse woman.
Yes.
Coming after him again. There's a lot of these scenes, and they come in pretty seamlessly.
It's really
they're pretty spooky. They're interesting. And as soon as he snaps out of that, he's just like, "This ritual is over. Get the fuck out." And she does. She just leaves. Mm-hmm. Everybody just leaves. This is a weird end to a demonic ritual in which everybody leaves. And she has a long sequence of just walking home after dark.
Yep. And then there's like a whole scene of her just being in her bed at home.
Yeah. Yeah, the next morning. And she's just like, man, that was all a bunch of weird shit. And she goes into school. It's just a normal day. Well, it is a normal day. When we cut in on Akemi, he's talking to Loki via the computer, and Loki tells him, "Feed me a stray cat."
Literally, it's like, I need a sacrifice.
It's make me an offering.
Yeah.
Is his specific words, and he's just like, what, like the next sacrifice? But it's so soon. So yeah, he does he struggle with the corpse again?
No, they have a scene with the bullies in the classroom. I think.
Yeah. It's why are you? Oh yeah, it was just like, why are you dragging your feet? Don't you want this? And he thinks back to a really big River City Ransom character named Kondo beating the ever living shit out of it.
Yeah.
Because he supposedly kissed, I guess, his girlfriend, Kyoko.
He's like, you kissed Kyoko, and then there's a scene of quote unquote him kissing Kyoko, in which Kyoko runs up and like tackles him from behind and is like doing stuff. So it's like, he did not do anything.
Yeah, she's toying with him, and she doesn't care if her fucking boneheaded boyfriend beats him into paste.
She seems to like kind of be into it, actually.
She seems to be a little bit into it. These two have an interesting character dynamic that we'll have to explore later.
Yeah.
And he, thus being steeled by his memory.
He's like, I will kill
he's
them.
just like, you know what? I will get. I will prepare you a new sacrifice for power because I need power.
Hmm.
So next day at school, it's weird vibes, weirder than before,
It's
and
borderline culty.
it's cult vibes. And Yumiko goes and sits down in her appointed place. And once everybody's just sitting, Mrs. O'Hara just stands up and just says, "Today we're having our class in the computer lab."
Hmm.
And she says, "What, the computer lab?" She's like, "What?" And all the girls in class are standing around her desk and they're just staring down at her and just said, "Yumiko, let's go."
Yep.
Uh, and she stands up and they just grab her by the arms, presumably quite hard because he's
Because
just like,
she's
"Hey,
complaining.
holy shit, that hurt."
Yeah.
This is clearly not optional.
Yeah, like it does come into question, like, how in control of themselves are they? It doesn't.
Yeah, no, this is full. This is a full like Village of the Damned
Yeah.
situation. They're just they're robots right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and they take her to the computer room, which is not set up for class. Not any classes I know about. And yeah, it's set up like it was the night before, and the whole class is in there, and the door is locked by Miss O'Hara.
Hmm.
Uh, and Kemi is there, and she's like, what the hell is going on?" And all he says to her is, "Today, this time, you're the star of the show," which is rough.
Woof.
um, she's just like, "I'm not gonna do this shit," and she turns around, man. She can't even like move them to the side. They're just standing stock still
Yeah.
behind her, the entire class, and in lockstep they just move forward.
It's scary.
And he's just like, "Prepare the sacrifice." So they throw her in the chair, and he's getting ready to do it as normal, but things aren't normal this time. He goes to type in the code to summon up Loki, and the computer is behaving strangely before he even has the opportunity to get out the Oculus Rift. Um, and it starts spinning on its spindle, which is incredible for a CRT.
Yeah.
But it's Exorcist spinning on its spindle, and the screen is just like flashing between all these symbols and shit, and Loki's face, and it's pretty effective. And then and then this is where it becomes an 80s horror OVA.
The bad
Be-
gloop is released.
because yeah, the screen just begins to vomit forth just like meat juice from
Oh, the
ghost
pinkest, shiniest meat
the
gloop.
the pink slime from Ghostbusters 2. Um, just into a big pile in the middle of the room, like just like looks like, I don't know, like 150 pounds of it just into the room, and there's like a long pause where it's just there pulsating.
Uh-huh. He's like, wait, what?
He's just like, "What the fuck?" Everybody in the room is looking at it like, "What the fuck?"
Huh?
And then it reaches out and just starts grabbing people at random.
And not just
Squirting
grabbing
them
them,
like
but
pimples.
juicing them.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
pulls them into its mass, and Akira crushes them, is what it's doing.
What if Juicero were evil? Wait, no.
That's
No.
not.
It was already evil.
Juicero's already evil.
Yeah.
This is how they make the packets.
Mhm.
What if Juicero was out for blood? Wait, no, it was all...
But yeah, it pulls in most of the glass,
Mhm.
and just squashes them. And eventually, it collects enough blood, I guess, that it forms itself into the form of Loki in the flesh.
Mhm.
Uh, and he's big, he's blue, he's an asshole. And he's
Omar
decided.
immediately comes and humps his leg.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, that's revealed later. You only see that later.
Oh,
It's a
I
pretty good
forgot about
reveal.
that.
Um, but yeah, he's just like uh, he's just grabbing and squishing, And Akemi is horrified by this scene. He's just like, "Oh God, stop! You gotta stop!" And Loki turns to him and says, "Stop? What do you mean? Isn't this what you wanted?" And we get another flashback to our pals Kondo and Kyoko, um, to the inciting incident here, where Akemi had apparently found some sort of instructions for doing this. Because he's always carrying around a number of books about like computers and Kabbalistic summoning and shit. And apparently one day he just snaps and begins using the computer room's resources for it. It's funny because he's just sitting there typing, and when the teacher notices, he's just like, kill, 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 kill. He's just like, Akemi, what the fuck are you doing up there? And he looks behind him and sees all the fucking reel-to-reels engaged, and he's just like, whatever this is, fucking stop. But it is very too late because he has already seized control of the minds of his classmates. And he very eloquently states his desires to the DOS prompt, which is kill Kondo and kill Kyoko. Now, in a lot of horror media, this would be a very quick scene. But the thing is that Kondo and Kyoko are kind of badasses.
They're kind of tough. Like
Kondo is just stomping the shit out of people, and Kyoko is just coming out with fucking razor blades like it's prison.
Yeah.
She's just slicing the shit out of people.
So they last for quite a while.
They last for quite a while.
Quite a few people.
Kondo gets smashed over the head with it looks like a disk drive or something.
Yeah.
That's just been snatched off one of the desks. And mercifully, that's the end of him. They do something very unfortunate to Kyoko that I was actually shocked by. It doesn't.
He got 8.
You got.
Yeah.
I was trying to build a sense of drama, Joey. It doesn't show anything, but the implications of this are horrendous, which is somebody has her by the ankles and is just holding her up upside down off the floor. And one of the other girls approaches, and it cuts to a shot from between her legs from behind. And she just opens her mouth real wide and just
and
goes in for the chomp.
Pours down.
Blood
when
just
that
pours
happened,
down
I literally
from the
out
screen.
loud went, "Hello!" Like really loudly because I was so shocked.
It's just like, Jesus Christ! They didn't split her in half crotch-wise.
Horrifying.
Didn't know a person could do that.
That's about. I'll be real. That's about as OVA as this gets. This is no Legend of the Overfiend.
Well, it does also have like the meat more. It has a little bit more meat.
Well, yeah. No, I didn't say. Hey! I didn't say that it was the end of the meat. Now, did I?
I'm just saying the meat is a little OVA, and there is a little more of that.
Yeah, like I said, this is no Legend of the Overfiend.
Not quite.
Notable lack of tentacles in this. But anyway, moving on. He snaps out of it, and he's just like, oh shit, I've called up what I can't put down. And Loki's just like, I'm gonna kill you now.
Yep.
Because Loki was never interested in helping this little nerd.
Nope. He just wanted to be free.
He wanted to be in the material realm to do demon things.
Yep.
You gotta
into goop, apparently.
You gotta appreciate a villain with a very simple plan. Which is cause chaos.
Yep.
So yeah, during this reveal, he primarily uses goop powers, which is interesting. Like I didn't expect that to go on any longer, but
like that's what I'm saying. Like the goop, this doesn't have tentacles, but the goop, the way it acts, is kind of close in some shots.
But he snatches up Akemi and Yumiko, to presumably dissolve, which is also where we get the reveal that Obara has been just fucking humping his right leg this whole time, and he's just like, I might as well dissolve you too. You're already in contact with me.
Very funny.
So it looks pretty bad for everybody involved. I was wondering how they were going to come back from this, and here's how they come back from this, which is we're going to cut to Yumiko's internal monologue as she loses consciousness, which is a figure, a female voice tells her that she cannot give up, that she has to combine her powers with Akemi to fly away from this place. And she rightfully says, the guy who got me into this shit. And the voice doesn't even like catch it. It's like, yes, that guy. You have to combine forces. She's like, okay, well, beats dying. And when she wakes up, she discovers a power in herself that she did not know that she had. Or maybe it's Izaname's power. I'm not sure. She explains to her that in a previous life she was Izaname, which is what the mother goddess of Japanese myth. Anyway, she uses her fucking Superman heat vision too.
She suddenly gets laser eyes. Girl power.
Girl power. She's using she's expressing her femininity in the best way she knows how. And anyway, she frees Akemi and herself by blowing a bunch of holes in Loki with mind fire. Lands next to him and says, "Come with me, we must fly." And he says, "What?" And she's just like, "Come with me, let's fly." And they jump out the window.
Yep.
Oh, and Loki claws the shit out of her back.
Yep.
As she's getting away. Our next scene is where they've landed basically in the wilderness of Japan, next to a stone Buddha. And Yumiko drops the information that, hey, I'm dying. It's pretty bad. Can you worthless piece of shit, can you just, fix this by taking me to Izaname's grave over there? And Akemi's just like, I guess. He has another hallucination about being attacked by the corpse woman, because he tries to pick her up and her back is just shredded in the ruins, and it freaks him out. But yeah, he does eventually pick her up and make his way for a while. It reveals that they're like far away from the school. They apparently teleported.
Yeah.
And he eventually collapses, but his BlackBerry falls out of his pocket. And he says, yes, I can do more of what got me into this problem. So he summons up Kerberos, and Kerberos appears like He-Man's fucking tiger mount. And he's just like, yeah, sure, I'll carry you. I'm Kerberos. He doesn't speak, he just shrieks.
It's a very fun noise. I like it.
While he's walking, a fly does land on him, and it turns out later that those flies are important, because they report back to Loki, and they all crawl inside his ears, and it's horrible.
Oh.
I am somewhat thankful that I could only watch this in like 360p, because I did not have to watch detailed flies crawl into his detailed ears. Anyway, they arrive at the mound and climb inside. Everything seems to be going all right until, oh shit, Loki's here. He's just blocking the tiny hole they came in, and there's a moment where they're just like, ah, shit. And he's just like, yeah, that's right, shit. And then the floor falls away into the universe. There's a lot of like I assume metaphorical shit going on here.
Yeah, this ending part is a lot to take in.
It's a lot. I'm not necessarily displeased by it being a lot, um, but yeah, they fall into the darkness through like stars and planets and shit. And the voice of Izanami is just like, "Hey, you and Yumiko have to, break through the darkness together." With the implication that I guess it won't work if you don't go together.
Yeah.
Back to the world of light. Big implications of that shit from like the gate, where it's like the world of light and sanity instead of the world of darkness and pain.
Hmm.
That's a good ass movie. If you guys, if anybody wants to watch it sometime,
Sure.
but
I'm into it.
so yeah, the last segment of this film is Akemi trying to fix this shit, basically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort
by
of.
A, acquiring Yumiko, and B, getting the fuck away from Loki, who is chasing them.
Hmm.
He finds the sword again at one point, which gives him a modicum of power to combat Loki in the same way that heat vision gave Yumiko the ability to do so. There's a lot of meat flying around here. Kerberos gets the worst of it. He also breathes green fire for a while, which is fun.
Yeah, it like acid burns the meat away, but also the
Um,
meat is full of people.
this is a good scene. Whenever he picks up the sword and is able to use it, they're just outside like the portal to
Hmm.
back to the world of the living, I guess. Uh, and when the Loki sends out like lots of lumps of meat to attack him as a group,
Hmm.
and as each attacks him and he swats it down, pretty well animated scene with his cool sword. It flashes his classmates who he like caused the death of.
Hmm.
Coming at him. Kondo comes at him, so as Kyoko tries to fucking razor his nose off. Um, a bunch of kids just try and drag him down.
Hmm.
Uh, and after beating those back, he finds that some of the meat is on Yumiko, and she's gone corpseified at him.
Hmm.
She's gonna drag him down. And he almost loses her over the side because he's so fucking afraid of her. But at the last second, he reaches out to grab the corpse's arm so that she doesn't go over the edge, and that's apparently an enough of a turning point that it drives Loki's influence out. And then they fight Loki.
Yep.
They just stab him a bunch.
It
Or
doesn't take them long, actually.
like him and Kerberos do it.
Hmm.
It's just like buddy cop, human and demon.
Yeah.
Uh, And yeah, they charge through. They dispatch him and charge through the gap. Uh, a scene that we didn't quite get to because it's hard to place in here is that back at the school while this shit is happening, while I would say during the sequence where they were trying to make it to the mound, Loki and Miss O'Hara are hatching a plan to do something. I think they want to increase his influence with a more powerful set of computers. So they pick the computers at like the third bank of Sapporo, and
Yeah. Yes.
it leads to a very intense scene that kind of reminds me of the one on Good Omens, where they send the demon through the telephone to the call center
Uh-huh.
because just a bunch of meat comes out of this bank teller's screen and
Starts eating people. It's
just starts
terrible.
eating.
Yeah.
Well, it grabs her so fast that her compatriot doesn't even notice, and when she looks over, it just grabs her head directly and crunches it
Yes.
immediately.
It's really bad.
It's
Really
really
bad
bad.
to see.
Just a bunch of this goo rolling out and killing people
Hmm.
in a very banal setting, like that's active and during the day. So it's even more kind of shocking. Um, but yeah, they end up beating Loki. They stab him in his big third eye.
Hmm.
And charge through the gap back to the real world. So yeah, they're just in the wilderness of Japan and presumably in the area of the mound. And it doesn't look like Yumiko's coming back.
Hmm.
It looks like fucking Akemi is just like, shit, I really hate reaping. Love sowing, hate reaping.
I thought she was gonna respawn. Come on.
I thought she was gonna come back and everything was gonna be fine because I did nothing wrong because I'm
Done nothing wrong
Akemi
in my life.
Nakajima and I'm completely justified in every action I take. But no, it looks like it's going to be a tragedy. And even more so than that, when we cut back to the ruined computer room full of dead people,
Yes.
Mitsuhara is on the computer frantically trying to summon up her demon BF. Clickety clack, 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 with her limited knowledge of Fortran. And yeah,
Mr. Semicolon.
it starts and you know the reel-to-reels engage and the computer starts scrolling text fast and just Loki-sama, and the screen says, "I am Set." She says, "Who is Set?" "I am the dark god of Egypt." And it cuts back to her face and she says, "Oh, dark god-o."
She looks so excited.
And then the credits roll.
It's some freak shit.
I said we were going to get to this later. I think she was a normal person to begin with.
Mm-mm.
But when I think she was a normal person to begin with. But when this much bad shit happens to you and you get a taste of the demon dick, it changes you. It makes you different.
Go back. She's like, I can't go back.
And you need some from the rival of Horus. You gotta, y'all. If you ever have a spare moment, just look up some of the myths involving Set and Horus, because it is. I swear to God, it's nothing but them trying to feed each other, trying to feed each other semen, like wrapped in lettuce leaves and shit. Because if you're found to have ingested somebody else's seed, it makes you weaker or something. It is the weirdest series of pranks I've ever seen in a mythology.
God, it's just like Alpha Sigma Phi.
It really is. It's like that anime trope where you bake some of your body hair into a pie and make the boy you like eat it or something.
Yikes.
Oh no!
It's horrendous. So anyway, that is the end of just MT, not SMT.
Yep, Digital Devil Story.
What do we think about Digital Devil Story, the OVA?
It was not even close to what I was expecting, for one thing. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was far different from this. To be fair, my only experience thus far was a small portion of Shin Megami Tensei. Which is apparently like a remake of Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei 2, which was sort of a remake of this one. And also this fascinated me enough that I spent like a good chunk of time after finishing the episode just going on a deep Wikipedia rabbit hole because some of this stuff is absolutely fascinating. So that's what I'll say. This was fascinating, and I kind of liked it. It was weird, but I kind of liked it.
I feel like the pacing on this is absolutely fucking insane.
Yes.
I mean, I watched at 2x speed.
I think we can't rely on your opinion for anything involving pacing.
I just want to say about this whole situation is that it felt like every genre all at once.
Yeah, it's got a lot of elements going for it because it's definitely supernatural horror. It's a little bit science fiction. It's a lot action.
It's Lord of the Rings. It's The Blob. It's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's Neon Genesis. It's Akira. It's Weird Science. It's Scanners. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. It's Devilman. It's Tron.
I would
question mark.
If I had to say anything, it's probably like somewhere between like Cardcaptor, Devilman, and The Blob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels like yes.
People pulling out powers at the last minute. But it's not like irritating like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind the laser eyes moment. Like, it was. I did kind of laugh that, like, okay, their whole thing is their, like, reincarnation of a deity.
Yeah,
I am reading on the wiki that, he is also supposed to be a reincarnation of a deity.
well, he's a Nagi.
Yes.
Because I wanted to talk about the imagery of the corpse woman chasing him, which is a direct parallel to Japanese myth.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because Izanami died, like while Izanagi lived, and he had to go into the underworld and get her. And very much like Orpheus, he had to not look at her
Right.
while he got her, and he couldn't bear to not do it while she was all fucked up and dead. So it didn't lead to like a Hades like curse. It led to her hating him and tried to kill him every time they
Mm-hmm.
met.
I will say that I've, having read the summary, it sounds like that story is kind of what they ended up more like doing with the sequel.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What else do I have to say about this? Really, I feel like its pacing problems are from the trying to adapt a series of novels into like a
Yeah.
40-minute OVA is the
Yes.
issue. If they'd split this into two, it may have been better.
Yeah. Or even
Uh,
like a short running series might have been more fitting.
yeah,
But
yeah, like maybe three even. But
yeah.
my only other issue with it is that it has a remarkably unlikable protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the thing.
Akemi is scum. He's just
Akemi is
terrible.
Bad guy.
a nasty boy, and he's also like kind of a bitch boy. I don't.
He shows no signs of regretting his actions, other
No.
than indirectly causing Yumiko's death. He seems to be upset about that, but like he takes control of his entire class,
Yeah.
like their minds, so he can kill two people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, they were bad to him, but fuck. And then he doesn't stop after he's achieved his like goal, because it's kind of implied that like he did that before the OVA even started.
Yeah. It did seem like that, didn't it?
So Akemi is kind of scum.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, what else do I have to say? The music in this show was just full of bangers. The
Yes.
Sega Genesis soundtrack is incredible.
I was so obsessed with the end song. It was
Mhm.
bopping.
Yeah, every time there would be an action sequence, you would just like if you'd watched me while I was watching this, I was just like deking my head back and forth and shit.
The music
Doing
whenever he was like running from Corpse Woman, oh,
mm,
fucking
doing
fantastic.
doing my fucking JRPG like idle pose.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
Yes. There was a moment in this where I think he was saying something like, yeah, I need more computing power to be able to summon Loki, and I was like, you know, if this happened in the modern day, I could just summon Loki with my phone.
Yeah.
You know
With
the
my
game.
smartphone.
You know, I don't think they mean to, but the games kind of follow that up, because the devil summoning shit becomes an app, like on your phone.
Yes. Yeah.
The phrase "I need more compute power to summon the demon" is really weirdly very Black Hole Core.
Mhm.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
This was surprisingly like it had some of your aesthetic going, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely the mix of like demon summoning and like computers. That kind of aesthetic mix was fascinating.
Septagram 98.
Exactly.
I
So
I also thought it was really interesting that there was like a fun little Easter egg, I guess. I don't know if you would even call it an Easter egg, but it was like fairly early on when
mm,
they were talking about the moon phases.
mm,
I think I want to say that like it was a news report that was on, which is apparently how you like control the demons in the games.
Oh yeah, like Phases of the Moon is a big thing. I remember that because I played a little bit of Devil Summoner,
Mm-hmm.
which is, by the way, is a hilarious game because it takes place in like the 20s, and there's a bunch of you have a sword and a fucking gun. It's also like an action RPG, so you like run
Sounds
around
very silly.
shooting demons with a gun. Um, but yeah, a lot of it is predicated on what fucking phase of the moon it is, and
Mercury is in retrograde, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to summon anyone tonight.
it's just like it's the demons are hopped up on their bitch juice, and they won't listen to me.
um,
Uh,
what do we think of this art?
um, it has a very 80s like vibe to it that is hard to describe, but there's a lot of like muted colors to a certain degree, but not in like a muddy monotone like way. It just seems like there's intense colors, but they're just dark.
Yeah, I can get that.
It has the same color palette as like a fucking King Gizzard album cover. It's
That's really true, actually. Lots
just
of those
very
like blues and purples, and then
really
there's some, like,
stark
vibrant
black.
reds.
Yeah. It did look a lot like Devilman, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm Devilman.
Devilman!
It was a contemporary. It's Devilman and this and fucking Legend of the Overfeed. Nobody watched
No,
that. I'm
don't.
serious.
Actually, I have. And it's bad. Don't watch it. I feel like this would have awakened. This show would have awakened something if in a younger JoJo.
What,
I
what
don't
would it
know
have
what.
awakened?
I don't know what. I can't name it. I just look at it and I was like, yeah, you know what? I feel like this would have given me something.
God. Gotta keep you away from the personal computer. Anyway, if you've accidentally ever summoned something with your PC, you can tell us about that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. You can summon us on Twitter. We are at One Episode Cast there as well.
But if it's the wrong phase of the moon, I will call you
yeah,
a bitch.
If it's the wrong phase of the moon,
I will drink your Pepsi.
Pluto. If it's the wrong phase of Pluto, I'll just like squawk at you.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to transcribe it because I don't think Blackle has ever tweeted on the podcast account.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's that. Have
Man,
a great.
OVAs are fucking crazy. Oh.
They are.
Love OVAs.
Next level.
I don't know whether to dig up some more for next year because we've exhausted all the classics at this point. We'd have to get some weird shit out.
I remember when we watched what was it called? One Piece? That was a fun one.
Oh yeah, the fucking Noroi curse dress shit.
A full year ago by now. Isn't that wild?
I had to dig pretty deep for that one.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to get on ebay.co.jp.
Oh my god, are we gonna have
Listen,
this fucking eBay snipe from
buddy? I have a VHS tape under my a VCR under my monitor. I can rip VHS tapes.
This is going to become a podcast / archiving exploration.
Oh shit, we can't do this. We can't start fucking eBay sniping Kenny Lauderdale. He's gonna be pissed.
We're stronger than him.